in this early season. I mean, they obviously grabbed a huge 6 points of 8 possible on their road trip through Cali, and the road was not kind to them last year. So it's good to see that start happening.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things I've seen over the course of these handful of games at the start of the season here, but also some things that, it's like, okay, they could definitely work on this, and things that I think could be pretty easy improvements. But I think it's just, like one of the biggest things is I can see there's a lot of talent on this team, right? You look at the guys who go on the ice who are making the plays, and you see the way some of these goals have been scored, the come from behind wins that they've had. You could tell that they've got talent. But there's little things like the second period collapses they've been having. It's like, you got to fix that. You can't do that all season. Sure, come from behind wins are fun to watch them, fun to talk about them. But to do that time and time again is exhausting. And
your
even
magic runs out after a while, right?
I'm sorry, but you can't keep tempting fate. Eventually you got to get a lead. And even the last game against the Ducks before the Sharks series, they get that lead and then they have a second period collapse, and we need late game heroics for that to come out on top for the Wild. So little things like that, where it's like, I'm optimistic that the roster is looking good. I like what I've seen from the guys on the roster, but little things here and there that could be fixed to make them just an overall better team. I will say the one thing that I'm a little concerned about at this point, which I don't know how easily this is of a fix, but the goaltending to me has not been as good as I was hoping it would be. And I'm talking about Talbot and Kakkonen. I mean, both of them, they've had, Kakkonen we've only seen once so far, and Talbot's gotten 3 starts. Talbot's played okay. I mean, I wouldn't say he's played horribly, but there's definitely been some things he's done where I'm like, oh, I wish that he would have done that differently. I wasn't impressed with Kakkonen's start against the Ducks. So the goaltending position to me scares me a little bit right now, but I know it's still early, and I'm optimistic that things will improve over the course of the season.
I will say I was most impressed with Talbot, ironically, in the loss against the Ducks. I thought he played phenomenal. I thought he really did, very well. And
he gave them a chance.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You're right. It's early, and I think everyone's still feeling everything out, right? So I'm eager to see how that changes while they're back home here at home, how much more we can see of Kakkonen. Again, Cam Talbot was brought here to be a starter, so he will get the lion's share, but I still want to see more of Kakkonen. On that same note, just for an update, no Alex Stalock update at all. He remains on the COVID-19 list with protocols, but that doesn't mean he has COVID necessarily. It's just, there's a whole long list. So anxious to see him get back in between the pipes as well. One thing that I have noticed, and this is not going to be a slight, so before you guys eat me alive, I would like to see Kirill Kaprizov shoot the puck more, right? And take the shot. He's always kind of looking sometimes, I think, for that fancy, pretty play and that fancy, pretty pass, which lucky for us, he can accomplish it most of the time, right? Like he usually completes the pass, where in the past we've seen Wild players try it and it fails, right? So at least there's that. But I know, and my husband's going to love this, because every game we've watched, he's like, God, why doesn't he shoot? And he's absolutely right. I mean, he's touted as this amazing goal scorer, and we've seen that capability, but he's shying away from some of those shots, or on the power play opportunity too. It's like, let's see a little bit more of the shooting aspect, not just the playmaking aspect. Again, both great qualities, but I'd like to see him shoot a little bit more, I think is a big thing. Also, I'd like to see the lines jumbled. Right now, the bottom 6 are performing the best.
Where's Bruce when we need him?
Yeah, like
Bruce will jumble at mid games. First period, one thing goes wrong. Shoot, everyone's on a different line.
I am a huge fan of consistency. Don't get me wrong, especially when I have to do the lines for every preview and every game. But at the same time, like, let's see something different. Again, we have you've got very mediocre lines across the board. Why not put one superstar line together with Fiala and Gigue? I think Joel Eriksson Ek is really proving himself as a strong centerman. He's looked really good. Jordan Greenway's looked very good. Again, that bottom 6 outperforming your top six, which sure, you can look at the depth of it, but that's not what you want. You want
it's
your
okay
top
from
line.
time to time, but over the course of a season, that your recipe is wrong if that's what you're doing. Yeah,
exactly. So again, we will see there's plenty of home ice here happening.